Entertalk Radio, you're in to all things music.
And it sounds great. Believe me, you're a business owner. You're like, yeah, man, I'd love to have more I'd love to have more leads. You know, I mean, who wouldn't? I'm in business to sell things, right? I would love to have more leads. Here's my problem. The whole phraseology of this whole thing says lead generation, right? So before you've even started, you've put your needs in front of the audience. It's like an 18 or 19-year-old man, and they say, I'm working on some sex generation. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to see how much sex I can generate. It's like you put your needs completely in front of your date. And that's not going to work out for you on the dating scene. And it's not going to work out for you on the marketing scene. We are talking about relationships, ladies and gentlemen. Do not confuse all of the fancy, metrics and all these kind of things with good old-fashioned sense and understanding how to deal with people.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, happy Friday. Happy Cinco de Mayo Friday, everybody. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, your host, and a man who became an honorary Latina last week as I spoke at the first ever Latina Nerds Conference in Los Angeles. So just a quick hi and hello to all my Latina nerd friends out there in L.A., and back with us in the booth after a short stay in prison for a crime he did not commit, Mr. Paul B. What's up, Paul?
Maybe I committed it, maybe I didn't. If I did commit it, this is how I would do it. That's my book that I'm writing.
If I did it.
If I did it.
This is going to be the plan. So you were out for a long time, and you're back.
Yeah.
So
back amongst the free folk.
Very good, very good. What were you out doing, seriously? Besides, the prison story, it works, it's comedic, but what were you actually doing?
When? When I was gone for a couple of weeks. I was out in Vegas.
Man, I've been there. I know it. I feel you.
I can't really talk about it. You know the rules.
Yeah, I spent a week in Las Vegas over a weekend once. It was great, very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I had a lot of fun speaking about branding and marketing and that kind of fun stuff at the Latina Nerds Conference. It was a great event, and also this week I spoke to just another quick hi and hello to another group that hired me to come out and speak to their group, the National Landscaping Executives Association, which descended into San Diego. It's all the executive directors of landscaping associations, like smaller landscaping associations, all over across this great land of ours, and they come together and they learn from other executives, about how to run their associations better and that kind of thing. And it was my honor to speak to them about branding and talk to them about all the stuff I talk about on the show, and including emotional branding. And we talked about some of their emotional brand centers for some of the association marketing work they were doing. Lots of fun, and it was fun for me to get down to San Diego. And when I was down in San Diego, I stopped by the world famous Entertalk Radio studios. And that was a lot of fun to see what the guys have got going on down there, because I log into this show remotely from lovely and scenic Orange County, California. Well, that's a lot of stuff going on. It's been a busy week, honestly. If you have a question for me out there in radio and podcasting land, you can always email me at my company address, scott@robertsoncom.com. I run a public relations strategic branding company called Robertson.com, and I will be happy to answer anything right on the big show. You can find a lot of my posts, my client clips, and other stuff that I do on the Robertson.com, 2M's like communication, Facebook page, or Twitter at Robertson.com. Again, no surprise, 2M's. Please reach out and connect. It's my job to sort of entertain you and educate and give some tips along the way, too. So, a lot of fun. So, you are tuned to the big program, and it is episode 51, which I like to call Things That Sound So Good. And really, and then the chicken just lays these fabulous golden eggs, and all you have to do, Mr. Farmer, is just go out to the coop, every day and grab one each day, and you'll be set for life. It's fantastic. I mean, it's great. It's like a fairy tale almost. And that's exactly what most marketing pitches are to companies: pure fiction or massive exaggeration. We're going to talk about the truth today, about a couple of things. We're going to dig into 3 things that are kind of annoying me right now that I want to set the record straight about. The 3 things are marketing automation, lead generation the companies that claim to do lead generation, and also telemarketing, which is something I hit a lot, and it's not going to be in a positive. Just a spoiler alert: I don't like telemarketing, and it's not going to be a good rundown of what telemarketing is for your business. But we're going to dig into that. Of course, we always talk about who's winning and losing on this program, and man, there's a fresh crop of those this week. So lots of fun. So we're going to have some fun doing story time this week, and hopefully you'll learn a few things that are going out there, and I can separate some fact from some fiction. So the first thing I want to delve into here in good old segment 1, again, we're talking about things that sound good but really aren't that good. The first one I want to talk to you about is marketing automation. So marketing automation refers to software platforms and technologies that are designed for marketing departments to more effectively market on multiple channels online: email, social media, websites, and automate repetitive tasks. And it sounds great. Believe me, it sounds wonderful. If you're the marketing person, you're thinking, hey, this is going to be, it's going to be more efficient. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great because it's going to send automatic emails. It's going to do automatic follow-up. It's like having your very own, robotic system to handle all the work that, repetitive, quote unquote, repetitive tasks that, you no longer have time for as a marketer. Here's what I want to say. The reason it sounds good is that it sounds like it's going to be a fantastic ride into automating a bunch of stuff that you don't personally want to do as the marketing team or the marketing department. But you must do it with a hell of a lot of empathy for the audience, or you're going to be a big part of the problem that I talk about on the show, which is just because you can, make dinosaurs doesn't mean that you should make dinosaurs, right? We've all seen the movie, we know what happens when you make the dinosaurs. They're cute at first, and then they become less and less cute, and it becomes extremely terrifying. Same is actually true with marketing and a good deal of things and good things that science invents as well. But we need to be able to exercise our judgment as marketers out there. And I try to target this to, the audience for the show, folks that are interested in marketing, interested in doing things better. One of the first ways that you can do things better is to realize that making things easy for yourself is not always a good thing for the audience. Okay? So marketing automation, I think it can be good. I think it can do good things. It can be used responsibly. But 9 times out of 10, I've seen it as a way that people think that they can just send you more stuff. And this will be the news flash for all the marketers out there. People are not waking up, this morning and going, man, my whole universe would be complete if I just got one more marketing email today. If I got one more sale or marketing-driven message trying to get me to buy something, then, man, I can really say that this would just be one hell of a Cinco de Mayo. I got to say, that's what's going to complete my day right there. They aren't saying that. In fact, what they are saying is, I want what I want when I want it. If you're there, cool, but don't bug me when I don't need you, right? And marketing is wildly struggling right now in an era where we have more data than we've ever had, to measure things and to make, to measure the marketing cycle and measure our, leads and our sales funnel and all these things. It sounds so good and it makes us feel so great. But the game is about relationships, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. This is a long game about relationships. And everything that you choose to do in your marketing cycle might build those relationships, and you got at least a 50% chance of destroying them, right? And you're like, well, Scott, you're a marketer. How could you say this? How could you say this? Isn't this more, business for you guys? I mean, isn't this responsible marketing, folks? Responsible. We're thinking about, empathy for the audience. Empathy for the audience, very important. Most marketing automation approaches I've seen talk about, how they can send out more stuff. I do not believe that the core problem of marketing is that we don't send out enough stuff. We send out bad stuff that is not thought out well, stuff that is boring, forgettable, awful, garbage marketing. That is the problem. It's not a frequency issue. It's a your content sucks issue. Okay? So make sure that you're on that page, when we're talking about marketing automation. It's great. It's like I said, it's great to automate things. We want to, use technology and be efficient and all those kind of things, but we never want to substitute the ability of being able to that we can do something for what we should do. And the audience will tell you how they want to be served, how you should serve them, how you can be remarkable and great and indispensable and all of those things. How you can be all of those things, is really, really, it's just really, really important stuff. So I would say marketing automation sounds really good. The pitches sound too good to be true. You read all the marketing automation pitches, and you're like, oh, this is where it's all going. And make your website, a complete marketing automation engine that will, email people. Maybe people just want to check out your website. Why don't you back off? Why don't you relax a little bit? It's like, don't ever be the needy brand. Do you see Apple sending you messages after you hit their website? Oh, we thought you might be interested in an iPhone. Are you sure not interested in an iPhone? Oh my God. They're like, you know what? You're lucky if you can even get an iPhone. Why don't you go wait in line for a while and we'll get to you when we can. Be confident. Be confident in your marketing. Don't be, scared and needy and all those kind of things, because then it drives people away. They get scared about you and it makes the whole relationship uncomfortable. Don't make it an uncomfortable relationship. Let's talk about lead generation while we're talking about massive amounts of neediness. So I get an email. I get 4 or 5 emails a week that go like this. Hi there. They don't address me by name. I wanted to run something by you. There's a few different areas I noticed on robertsoncom.com where I think we can help gain more visibility for selected keywords as well as drive more sales. Would you be open to having a few seasoned consultants I work with quickly get in touch with you to discuss? They'll furnish a detailed analysis on what we're talking about. I promise they'll cover things that you've definitely overlooked. If increased sales leads is what you'd like, let me know the best time and phone number to have them get in touch. Blah 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 blah. Lead generation. Let us talk about lead generation. Or I get another one that says, "Are you getting enough leads from LinkedIn? Let our seasoned consultants go through your profile on LinkedIn and contact all of the people in your network and see if they'll have meetings with you." So, and it sounds great. Believe me, you're a business owner. You're like, yeah, man, I'd love to have more I'd love to have more leads. I mean, who wouldn't? I'm in business to sell things, right? I would love to have more leads. Here's my problem. The whole phraseology of this whole thing says lead generation, right? So before you've even started, you've put your needs in front of the audience. My needs for lead generation. I could give a crap what you are. I got to say, it reminds me of like a 18 or 19-year-old man, and they say, I'm working on some sex generation. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to see how much sex I can generate. So let me just see how many, it's like you put your needs completely in front of your date, and that's not going to work out for you on the dating scene. And it's not going to work out for you on the marketing scene. We are talking about relationships, ladies and gentlemen. Do not confuse all of the fancy, metrics and all these kind of things with good old-fashioned sense and understanding how to deal with people, right? When you start out a conversation about lead generation, you very quickly can get into a conversation about, well, if leads are the most important thing to us, then let's just start churning numbers. Because you know what, if we send our message out to, if we get a 10% return on 1,000 things that we send out, well, what if we sent out 100,000? What if we sent out 1 million? What if we sent out all of them? What if we did all of that? Just because you can doesn't mean you should, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure that you understand the difference. This is where us senior, seasoned marketers can be extremely useful in the lead generation business. You will get business when your company is exceptional, when you do things like nobody else, when you deliver a product like nobody else, and people start talking about it through your marketing. You cannot force the world to buy from you. And anybody that thinks that they can, you should run the other direction as fast as you can, because they are full of crap. Okay? And a lot of my profession fits the full of crap definition, by the way. We're all trying to be on the other side of that line. So watch out for things like lead generation companies. Don't ever be in a situation, if you're an SEO company, be better than that, man. Don't send a bunch of emails to marketing companies and say, hi there, I think I can boost. You can't. I know more about SEO than you probably do, to be quite honest. And, you're probably in a foreign country anyway, and you don't even know the United States rules on SEO. So it's like, don't. It's so easy. And the last thing that I want to address is telemarketing. If telemarketing is in your marketing mix right now, stop it. Right now. Today. Yesterday. You are damaging your brand. I don't care how many sales you get. I don't care how many sales that you get from it. You are doing something far worse to your brand than you could ever possibly imagine, because you are the problem. You're the problem that the FTC created a list that people can put their phone numbers in so you can't reach them. You're the reason I have an app on my phone called Nomo Robo that blocks telemarketing calls from PBXs. Don't ever let your brand, your most valuable asset in your company that we try to build up and we try to cherish and care for and do all this, don't ever let that be dragged into a telemarketing type of situation. You're better than that. Come on, be better than that. I get calls all the time, about my energy needs, about my pest control needs, about, as a business owner, you get calls all the time. And I just shake my head. I'm like, I'm really busy. I know the things that I want to get. Why don't you attract me to you? Why don't you figure out how to attract me to you somehow, instead of having to call me and bug me, and now I don't like you before I've even done business with you. Telemarketing is awful. It's so awful. Like I said, there are government regulations, that shut down telemarketing companies. I can't imagine anyone with any sense in my profession at all engaging in telemarketing. If you're out there and you do engage in telemarketing, I do not get it. It's got to be a straight numbers game, and the only thing I could think of is you just value short-term sales more than long-term relationships. And if that's the case, then you're not in marketing. You're not in marketing. That is not the definition of what we do around here. And telemarketing shouldn't even be called marketing. It's tele-stalking. It's tele-garbage. Don't ever let that be part of your marketing mix. Call me offline if you ever have any questions about telemarketing. There's lots of things that sound good in marketing, people, but we're setting the record straight today on May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. Come on back. We're going to talk about who's winning and who is a losing.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EntertalkRadio.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Happy Friday, everybody. You are straight up tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I'm Scott. I'm back. It's Cinco de Mayo. It's Friday. Paul's there. He's kind of drunk. How you doing, Paul?
I'm not drunk. You can't prove anything.
You can't prove anything.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. I've had 4 margaritas. My limit's 6. Clearly.
I'm not the one who's fine. You're fine. I'm drunk.
Well, you do anything fun for Cinco de Mayo there, Paul? What are you doing today?
Nah, nothing much. I don't think. I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning for like no reasons. I've been up forever. I think once I go home, I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Nice. I got a gig tonight. The big band 5 South.
Oh, nice.
Cinco de South. Is playing at a bar tonight, and it's gonna be wild because I know people. There's a Ducks playoff game tonight, and it's gonna be, Angels are playing tonight. It's gonna be nuts tonight.
Nice. I got some Mexican food for lunch. That's kind of my celebration.
There you go. We all celebrate in our own ways. It's all good.
I didn't realize like it's consecutive 3 days of like kind of like B-side holidays. Like yesterday was May the 4th, Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
Today is Cinco de Mayo, and tomorrow I found out is Naked Gardening Day.
Oh my goodness! Really?
Yes, you got to garden naked tomorrow.
Do we have time to put that in the losing section? That's like all of humanity losing together.
Yeah, but
there can be no good that comes.
Plants
from that.
are winning.
Yeah, what's that line in Seinfeld? They say there's good naked and bad naked.
Yeah,
That's bad naked.
Crouching down, like digging around in the dirt's probably not the good kind of naked.
Yeah, that's not good naked.
But
so
I guess,
tomorrow, hey. Naked Gardening Day. I did not know that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it's going to be in the winning column. You don't know how far it's going to catch on.
That's right.
It might go viral.
Well, very good. Well, let's dig into who is winning and who's losing out there in the world. Google. Yesterday, a phishing attack appeared out of nowhere and affected the inboxes of lots of people across the world. Basically, the attack relied on the weaknesses of Google's own app system that really took control of users' Gmail accounts, and it sent out the spam link to users' address books. You may be one of the people that were affected by it. It basically started with an email sent from a known contact that invites you to click a link and see a Google Doc they shared with you. I got that link, but then I did what I normally do when I receive like a shared link. Is I usually email them separately and go, "You sent me a link, right?" That kind of thing, and try to make contact about that, which is always a good idea, by the way. Not to get on an IT rant right here, but it's pretty easy just to ask people if they sent you something or not on another channel, and then if they say, "Yeah, I did," then there you go. And if they didn't, then you're like, didn't get me, people. But we're going to put Google in the losing column, and certainly Google users in the using column, because it affected over 1 million Gmail accounts in less than an hour. powerful virus, and explore, kind of coming from a place where you least expect it. And the problem with that too is next time you send a Google Doc, for people to share and collaborate with you, like in my business, I do that all the time. There's going to have to be like a 2-factor authorization, insert both keys kind of mentality taken over, because people are going to start to think it's like, for a while you could send people attachments, and then people start putting viruses, in attachments, and then you could never get an attachment again. And if you ever had to send an attachment, all the IT people of the world were like, well, all attachments are bad. And so now the IT system will come to your rescue and make sure that there are no attachments that are allowed through the email system anymore. Thank you very much. And then you could never send an attachment to anybody after that. And then you'd call people and go, did you get the contract or whatever? And they'd be like, no, we can't get attachments. And you'd be like, okay. So anyway. Where does that leave us on that? Let's say I would say that puts Google in the losing column, and certainly the Gmail accounts in the losing column as well. The founder of LinkedIn says that too many of us are using the site wrong. Basically, he says that the founder of LinkedIn says that if you've received invitations to connect with people you've never met or you may never meet, that you should reject those. That he basically says that it's a social network for professionals, and you should make sure that you are. He basically said you're doing it all wrong. He says, you want to make sure it's a closed network, and the value that you have is an introduction tool. So your connections need to have meaning, and it's up to you, the user, to vet each and every request, so that if somebody comes up to you and says, online and says, would you introduce me? You're in a position to say, well, maybe I should introduce you because I know you and I know that you're a value connection, and not just that you connected with me and that sort of thing. So anyway, LinkedIn is saying the people are using it wrong. I put that in the, LinkedIn users are losing column, but also, to me, if you run a website and you know that people are using it wrong, and I'm just spitballing here, but I would say, how about a little bit of instruction? How about a little bit of communication from LinkedIn that says, hey, and this is how you should use it, that kind of thing. You run the site after all. My guess is I'm going to put you in losing because you're yelling at your users for doing something, and then you yourself aren't doing anything to educate them. So boo on that. Delta Airlines firmly in the losing column after, and I'm sure you've heard of it. Well, I'll tell you the story just in case you're not. Family booted from Delta flight and threatened with jail after refusing to give up their toddler's seat. A Southern California father said he and his family were booted from a Delta flight after they declined to give up a seat they bought for their teenage son, and they were attempting to use it for the 2-year-old sibling. So the Shears of Huntington Beach were on a red-eye flight from Maui to L.A. when they got into an argument with officials after being told that they had to give their seat to another passenger. So, and of course, you know what's interesting about this to me is that after the United thing, right? After the United forcibly dragging the doctor down the aisle of the plane, and we all can remember watching that a bunch of times. It amazes me that airlines aren't savvy to the fact that however many seats that you have on the plane, you have at least that many cameras pointing at every single thing that you're doing when you're doing it. And if there starts to be an altercation on your plane, then you can be absolutely assured that every camera is now on. I mean, you are on television for sure, probably being live streamed, to be quite honest, depending on the particular network connectivity that we have on a flight. But I'm just saying, it does kind of stun me that some of these mistakes are still being made in the public eye, knowing that there's so many cameras pointed at you. I've seen 5 or 6 different angles of this one so far, and there's plenty. Obviously, I'm sure there's plenty more. So, and finally, the agent told Shear that unless he complied, he would have to leave the plane, which would take off. And then he says on the video, "You can remove me off the plane." He's like, "You and your whole family?" He's like, "That's fine." He goes, "Oh, it's going to be a federal offense, and you and your wife will be in jail, and your kids are going to be in." And then he's like, "We're going to be in jail? What? It's a federal offense if you don't abide by it." So it's losing. It's losing. We've covered this on another show very recently about United Airlines. Okay. This situation of airlines overselling their flights is becoming less and less tolerated by the consumers of airlines. Less and less tolerable. And, now, again, here's what I would say as public relations counsel for this. No matter what gains that you're going to get from using that seat, there's no way that you can balance on a Excel spreadsheet the amount of money that you're about to lose in negative publicity for however that seat costs. You could take 5 planes, empty them out, and fire jet fuel over the friggin' Pacific Ocean, at the same time if you'd like to, just to spend extra gas. Use your resources. Retask another plane and get your people out of there. Do not get caught on an on-camera confrontation with your customers that's going to end your spokesperson and your CEO fighting for his job, fighting for everything that's going to drag your beautifully maintained and wonderfully created, crafted brand with hundreds of millions of dollars of investment into the toilet bowl, because now you're just another airline that is, doing horrible things to people. Be smart. Be smart. Understand there's a camera on you at all times. Assume there is. Behave that way. Make sure that under any, customer service situation, look for ways that you can diffuse things without creating a public relations crisis for your airline. That would be my counsel. If I'm standing up there and I'm saying on behalf of the brand, and all of us are working together on the brand, let's not do anything stupid. Let's not do anything that is going to, create problems like this. Let's retask another plane. Call me. I'll fly over there, get the people, the employees or the other people, and I'll fly them back myself. Anything to not have to deal with the PR implications of that kind of thing. And I just don't think that people think about that enough. Delta's in it. They're in it. They're stuck in it for a while until somebody else screws up bigger than they do. Somebody asked me today at a breakfast meeting, they said, do you think it really matters? Does it think it really matters to United Airlines? Does it really matter? Because we're stuck. It doesn't matter. It matters. It matters. We're talking about branding. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about things. There's no way that you're flying United Airlines and you're not thinking about the doctor being dragged down the aisle. And if you say that, then why do you pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to name sports stadiums? The United Airlines Arena and that kind of thing. Oh, we do that because we want to have positive emotional transference for the brand, for the sports teams that play there. Oh, great. Okay, so you're capable of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for a brand sponsorship. However, your brand means so little to you that you feel like nobody has a choice anymore, and so we're going to just behave this way and think it's not going to have an impact. Be smarter, Delta Airlines. Other things going on this week. Healthcare has really been in the news. The House approved a new health care bill yesterday to replace the Affordable Care Act on Thursday. The thing I want to say about this, I think we're all losing with our, in terms of some of this stuff. This stuff becomes so politically charged that we just have completely lost touch with anything related to the facts of the case. I have seen such exaggerations of this news story in the past 24 hours news cycle. I saw somebody that posted a thing that said, all these people with all these pre-existing conditions, the Republicans voted to get rid of your health care, and so now that you're gonna die from all these conditions. Okay, we're leaping completely off the cliff here. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you support this or not. It's like there's got to be some level of exaggeration that is just comical at some point. And to me, all this healthcare stuff it's insane how far we stray away from the facts. And we got to be doing that for some kind of, I don't know, political reasons is what I would say. But there's nothing that resembles the facts in the news coverage of this thing. I read, I go to the BBC, by the way. You want to look at a news outlet that is not awful for the United States of America? Great, here comes the great irony. Go to the BBC. The BBC's report of it was factual. They didn't have any forward-looking statements, any statements of opinion about what was going on. They didn't tell the audience what this means, quote unquote, because nobody knows what it means. It passed the House. It's got to go to the Senate. Don't make me sing the "I'm Just a Bill" song to you right now from Schoolhouse Rock. Although now we're all thinking about that song. But just so you know how bills get passed in this country, it has to pass the House. It has to pass the Senate. The president has to sign it. We're a long way from that. We're a long way from that. But now, all of a sudden, everybody's going to lose their health care insurance and a bunch of people are going to die from diseases that they may or may not have. I mean, stop it. Honest to God. And news media, better. Be better. Be better. I have a journalism degree. You're making me ashamed of it. You're making me ashamed of my journalism degree. You got to do better. Just learn from the BBC. Learn how to put the facts of something out there and just keep your opinions to yourself. No one cares and no one believes you. Anyway, got to say, we're all losing on that whole news reporting of that nonsense. Nordstrom is now selling muddy, heavily distressed jeans for $425. Dirty denim is the new black, selling for hundreds of dollars at pricey retailers like Nordstrom. They are selling jeans that look like you've been working all day, ironically enough, to people who probably aren't working in the mud all day, I'm going to guess. They're called heavily distressed muddy jeans for $425. Are you ready for the statement from the company? This is here it comes. The jeans embody rugged Americana workwear that's seen some hard-working action on a crackled, caked-on, muddy coating that shows that you're not afraid to get down and dirty. Really? Really, Nordstrom? Come on, man. I know they're just pants. And there's only so many things you can do to pants. Believe me, I get it. I understand your problem. But don't say stupid things like that in your marketing, okay? It's begging to be made fun of by people like me. Terrible. Don't do that. Losing. Nordstrom, losing. Let's talk about somebody who's winning. And it's so hard to find that. I think American teens are winning because they are taking breaks from social media. Some are stepping back deliberately from social media, and other breaks are kind of involuntary. I thought this was really interesting. A new study from the Associated Press and the University of Chicago surveyed 790 American teens about their media messaging and video content habits. You should definitely check out the report if you're in marketing because it's really fascinating. But it shows that 78% of social media using teens says it makes them feel closer to friends. 40% shows it makes them feel closer to family. But there's a group of them that report that social media makes them feel overwhelmed. And check this out. 58% of teens have taken a break from at least one social media platform. So you're starting to see that, the overloading of content and things on social media is starting to kind of drive away what social media had as a pretty key demographic for a good long time, teenagers. I don't have time to get into the entire big old study, but check it out. There's also one of the key things that I found in the study was that 23% of teens who hadn't taken a break from social media, they really wanted to take one. And basically 60% of teens who took a break from social media have taken 3 or more breaks, and 22% have taken 2, 18% have taken 1, that kind of thing. So sometimes they say their social media breaks are typically a week or longer, which I thought was really interesting. And by the way, boys were more likely to take longer breaks, with 36% of boys taking breaks of 2 weeks or longer, while 22% of girls reported breaks of similar length. So this is one of those kind of trend things that you want to keep an eye on. Is that social media, if folks are taking breaks, they're taking breaks because they're overwhelmed. And the next step is maybe they're not going to come back. Maybe that audience isn't going to be there the next time that you expect them to. And, that's a whole crop of who's winning and who's losing this week on May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. Come on back, and I'm going to give you some stuff to use instead of all that stuff that sounds so good.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EntertalkRadio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Happy Cinco de Mayo Friday, everybody. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am still Scott, your host. We just ran through the long litany of who's winning and losing. With me on the air here is Paul B. Paul, what are you thinking about this week in terms of winning and losing?
I can't believe the airlines just keep doing this like every week. A different airline. It's like,
just awful.
It's like they want to. I don't get it. You
just shake your head. I mean, after a while, if you're in the PR profession, you just shake your head and you're like, man. I mean, if United Airlines wasn't the most biggest cautionary tale you've seen in a career and a mismanagement of a crisis situation by a large company, and then on the heels of that, other airlines are like, hey, you know what we should do? Hold my beer. Here we go.
Hold my beer. So when something seems too ludicrous to be true and I can't explain it in any other way, I create a conspiracy theory about it.
There you go.
So,
I like it.
So if I can put on my conspiracy hat for just a minute, the only plausible explanation is these are agent provocateurs that are inserted into these companies. They're told to create the most horrible PR situation, so then the government can come in and privatize the airline industry at the end of it. That's the only thing that will explain how all of them, what looks like a concentrated effort, are doing the same thing every week.
That's awesome. I like it. I could see it. I mean, hey, we'll all be looking at Paul B's wisdom.
Yeah, a year from now, when there's one government, it's just Trump Airlines. It's going to be Trump Airlines. It's
Trump Airlines. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be fabulous. I tell you, it's going to be the best airline of your life. And if we're not going to bump anybody, what we're going to do? Instead of bumping people, we're just going to. They get their own plane. Plane for everybody. Get your own plane on Trump Airlines. I'm excited about it. Well. That's who was winning and losing. So this whole episode, we've been talking about things that sound so good, like marketing automation, lead generation, telemarketing. Telemarketing doesn't sound good. It's just something people still do for some unknown reason. But I figure, hey, that's the bad news, right? I like to leave you guys with tips. So I like to leave you with, here's stuff you can use instead of that stuff. That stuff sounds so good. Like I said, if you go read the websites of these marketing automation companies, you will believe that unicorns can fly, baby. And you will be like, oh my God, my profession does all this kind of stuff. Be careful. Be careful. Okay? If it sounds too good to be true, what'd your mama tell you? It is. It absolutely is. Okay, so there's always a cost, so you know. I'm going to give you some stuff to use instead of that stuff to be better. Number one, flat out, and I believe this, with all of my heart, the best marketing that you can do is to be exceptional at what you do. There is no amount of quote unquote marketing that will ever beat this. If you are a brand, if you're a band, if you're a rock band, be amazing. Every performance, be different, be amazing, write amazing songs, draw in your tribe and deliver for them. If you're a brand, be absolutely indispensable and be better at getting better every day. If we spent half the time we think about marketing and how can we target people and how can we creepily get their information, how can we creepily use their information against them and kind of things. If we spent a fraction of that time just being better at our core business, then we wouldn't need to do so much of that marketing. We'd be able to amplify those things. I tell my clients that. I go, rule number one is that we are going to be exceptional at what we do. Absolutely exceptional. That is the key to doing great marketing, to doing great things. You must be that. You must have that as your number one goal. And before you engage in any kind of, we need to do marketing automation and lead generation and this, start with how can we be absolutely out of the park, exceptional at what we do every day? And how can we get better at it every single day? Put your energy there. Put your energy there. And I'm not the first person to say it. There's a very wise marketing guru named Seth Godin. One of the cornerstones of his marketing philosophy is exactly that. Just be great. Be great, be great, be great. Very important. Don't look for new ways to send out your same old tired messages. Oh yeah, you got marketing automation now, and now we every time somebody clicks on a different page, a different landing page of the website, we can send them a different message and that kind of thing. They don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want that. They really don't. Think about yourself. You don't want that, and you're just like them, except for unfortunately, you have the power right now to decide what messages they receive. So use that power responsibly. Look for ways that we can attract people by being what they need. This is why I always talk about messaging. Everybody always says to me, Scott, you're always talking about messaging. You're always talking about messaging, and this kind of things. Is everything about messaging? It is. It actually is. It's all about emotions. Great brands are about, if you say the word brand, the next word out of your mouth had better be emotions, because the idea of branding is about emotions. It's about transferring emotions, and it's about the emotions that people already have inside of themselves and how brands can help them sort of complete that picture. If you're doing a B2B marketing campaign that's targeted at CEOs, have a lot of pressure on them, right? They want to be thought of as, I'm a responsible leader. I take care of my people. I do, good things for my company. I'm a great leader. I'm all the way up the chain, right? All those kind of things. Those are all ego messages that people say about themselves. I am statements that people say about themselves. Wouldn't it make more sense to make your stuff tie into what they already want to be true about themselves? Wouldn't that make the most sense? And then if you're really clever and you're a really good marketer, you can find ways for them to seek that message out, because what's going on in their head 24/7? I am a responsible leader. I make good decisions for my people. I do good things. All these kind of things. Those things are going in their mind already. So all you have to do is lock into those kind of things and then find ways that you can attract people to the views that they already want to be true about themselves. It couldn't be any more easy than that. That is how you use that's how you use emotions. And that's just one example of how you can of how you use emotions. But that's the real stuff. And it does all come back to messaging. A lot of companies say, well, we're going to do a brand, we're going to do a brand refresh. And so we're bringing in our graphic designer and we're telling them what we want, and we want to use more blues and we want to make it a more flat design and blah, 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 blah. And my question back there is, what's it based on? What are you trying to get people to feel? And then there's a big, long silence after that. A big, long silence. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that's a problem, because before anything can be handed off to the graphic artist or the web design team or any of that stuff, you need to do some serious soul-searching thinking about what emotion is it that we wish to transfer and that we wish to own and we wish to be a part of. And And then our message takes on a different tack. Instead of being about, features and benefits and we are this and we've been in business this long and blah, 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 and all those kind of things, we're like, you want this, like we always say about Apple, you're more powerful than you think. There are 2 personal pronouns directed straight back at you, the audience, on that. And Apple, if anybody could do a braggadocious kind of tagline or something like that, they're like, hey, we're the biggest company in the planet, ladies and gentlemen. We are massive. We have more money in our vaults than probably most governments do. And they could easily say things like that about themselves, but they don't. They make it about you because Steve Jobs knew how to make things about you. He knew how to do that. He knew that psychology, and he knew how to do that. And the corporate culture still is able to to execute on that. So, tip number 2, as we talked about, don't look for new ways to send out your same old tired message. Go to work on that message. I work on messaging the first thing I do with any new client. And sometimes clients are like, well, our message is pretty good. And I'm like, it's accurate, but it's not good unless you can say that magic E word right afterwards. And the question I'm always going to ask people is, what emotion are you going for here? And if they can't answer the question, then everything should stop right now. Everything should stop. And we should all, and we need to go to the drawing board. And we need to get that piece, because if you don't have that piece, then the rest of the house is not on a steady foundation. And I don't care what graphic artist you have working for you. I know some of the best graphic artists on the planet. And the bottom line is, if they're working on your vision of the brand that is like self-centered and doesn't consider the audience very well and doesn't consider their emotions, it's going to be weaker than something we could come up with if we were able to consider those emotions. So messaging. Much better. If you spent all of your time in messaging and 0 time on marketing automation, your marketing is going to be far superior to those people every single time and twice on Sunday. Make sure you do it. Tip number 3, build your relationship wall and do not ever let your communications tear it down. Everything that we do in communications, if you think about the marketing mix, if you think about your social channels, your advertising, your public relations, your promotions, your artist endorsements, your celebrity influencer endorsements, all these kind of things. Each one of those things is a brick in a wall that builds a relationship with you and it builds up a relationship or a bridge. Think of it as a bridge instead of a wall, So you're building a little piece of a bridge between you and your customer. And you want to have a solid, steady bridge that goes back and forth, right? So that there's nice of commerce and good feelings for years and years to come. Disney wants that. They want you to take your kids there. They want your kids to have a great experience with you as parents. They want them to learn the behavior as parents, that they're supposed to bring their kids to Disneyland and everything, so then the next generation can bring their kids to Disneyland and consume all of our stuff and get all our little Zoom animals and get all of our little stuff and get every single thing. That's the game. The bridge is the game. That's what we're trying to do. When you do things like that sound good, like marketing automation, you could have a very strong bridge between somebody. I bought a car once. I bought a Kia, and we were really excited about buying the Kia, and it was for my wife. And we had a good brand experience with them. The price was good, the car was good. We were excited about it. And then in the first week we owned the car, I got contacted 7 times by the dealership from different folks in the dealership. 7 times. One of them was, I just want to make sure everything's okay. Okay, that's good. That's fine. Oh yeah, just want to let you know about our service program. It says, just want to let you know about that. You own a great brand now. Just want to know about the service and every kind of thing. 7 times. And I counted. And when we got to 7, I finally just told him, I said, you need to back off. You need to back off. All my positive experience with your brand, you're destroying it. You're over communicating with me. Go away. You did what you were supposed to do. Now go have a beer or something. I don't need you in my life until I tell you I need you in my life again. And it was really annoying. And they just would not get the message. And so when people ask me about Kia, I'm like, they're great, but they stalk you. Good intentions. There are great intentions here, to be honest. Kia was like, well, what could be wrong? We're following up with our customer. We're being this. It's just like, Lenny from Grapes of Wrath? Grapes of Wrath, right? Big, dumb, retarded Lenny that, was, had a lot of strength and everything, and end up crushing the puppy, right? Don't be like Lenny, okay? Don't smother things. We know you love us. Just step back a little bit. Keep your distance. Don't let your communications tear down your bridges. Don't let your communications do that. Make sure, remember the other side of the sword. Communications is a sword. It absolutely cuts. It can be sharp. It can cut one way. It can absolutely cut you coming back the other way if you're not careful. Remember the key example. The fourth thing I would say is stuff to use instead of the stuff that sounds so good is public relations. I'm a huge fan of it. I'm an accredited public relations practitioner. I am proud of my profession. I enjoy that go-to-market means better than anything else, because anybody can say, "Hey, we're great. Hey, we're great. Look how great we are." Anybody can buy advertising. Anybody can create approaches like that. But it adds so much more trust and credibility to your bridge if other people do it for you. And public relations is 100% about persuading other people, that you're great, so then that they will say that you're great, and then other people will, wait for it, believe that you are great. Okay? Remember that. Remember, that's why we do public relations. We do public relations because we want trust and credibility. We should be doing everything because we want trust and credibility. But if you actually wanted trust and credibility, there's no way that you would do marketing automation, lead generation, or telemarketing, right? Because those things stand in direct opposition to trust and credibility. Direct, absolutely. So, think it through. Marketing is easier than people think it is, to be honest. There's not always that thought that goes on. Sit down and think about stuff. I spend a lot of time for my clients just helping them think through things, asking questions back. Hey, why does this make sense? Why are we doing this? Is this how we want to approach this? That kind of thing. Have somebody that does that for you. Do it for yourself. Absolutely. Very, very important. The fifth tip or things you can use instead of the things that sound so good is anything different. I'm a fan of different. I'm a fan of zigging when the market zags. Research your market, your competitors, learn what the competitors are doing, and do different stuff. There are infinite number of marketing tactics out there once you have your strategy together. If they're sending out a bunch of emails, maybe you start to send out targeted personal letters. They're doing a ton of advertising. Maybe you do a ton of PR. They're working with a bunch of different artists. Maybe you're working with independent, up-and-coming bands and this kind of things. This is my point on this. Invest in doing things in a different manner than your competitors. There are a lot of ways to build out those bridges. There's a lot of different things you can use to build them. You do not have to rely on the same 5 tactics that everybody else uses. You don't. You really don't. Some things in marketing, they just sound too good to be true. And as we've learned today, they really, really are. But here's the hope. People still want things. We desire objects, services, and content that help us complete our picture of ourselves in a very positive way. All you're going to have to do is help your audiences be right. Be incredible, be indispensable, be exceptional to them. And your marketing, it's not just going to sound great. It's going to be great. And that's it from me, marketing fans. Until next week, this has been Scott Robertson, host of May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of Cinco de Mayo. We'll see you next week. Later. You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Entertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?